Hi, welcome to our Wednesday devotional time. Thank you again for spending this time with me. As you know, I love to read, and right now I'm reading again a book I read a number of years ago by Warren Wiersbe entitled The Bumps Are What You Climb On. He begins that book with a little story about a little boy, a young boy, leading his sister up a mountain trail. And it wasn't an easy path, and the girl complained and said, "This isn't a path. This is all rocky and bumpy." And her brother, the one that was leading her, said, "Sure, the bumps are what you climb on." I love that illustration because that's the way it is in the Christian's life. Most of us think our paths should be paved like the sidewalks. They should be smooth and easy to navigate. I don't think that's ever been God's plan. I'm taking this devotion from Psalm 91, and we read these encouraging words in verse 1. "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Dwelling under the shadow of the Almighty sounds wonderful. It sounds safe. But the following verses reveal exactly what he's saying. "I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday." This is a wonderful song of protection and deliverance, but we must realize that God allows the situations in which we need His deliverance. He can't deliver us if we're not in a situation where we need to be delivered. These verses speak of the snare of the fowler. They speak of the noisome pestilence, the terror by night, the arrow that flieth by the day. These are all problems that must be faced. We need to realize there can be no deliverance unless there's a situation from which to be delivered. Several have spoken to me recently about the situations in our nation. Maybe we've never been in a worse situation, at least recently. Right now, this idea that they're teaching in many of the public schools that we have tried so hard for years to overcome, the idea that you judge somebody by the color of his or her skin, is ridiculous. We've worked so hard for years to overcome that kind of thinking, and now the public school has picked it up and teaching it, calling it critical race theory. The problem is that we are facing problems in our nation. But God's not surprised. God never said our nation would be free of problems or bumps on the path or bumps on the trail. In the recent days, several of our church members have faced hardships in their own lives. Several have lost loved ones to death. And although they, so far as I know, have all gone to heaven, they've all gone to eternity saved, that still leaves a great heartache in the lives of these people. But I want to remind you that God is not surprised by any of this. He saw it coming and didn't stop it, whether it was in our nation or in our homes or even in our church. That means He's able to protect us, to guide us, to hide us, to shelter us, to take us in His shadow or under His wings. Because as Warren Wiersbe says in that little book, the bumps are what we climb on. The attitude of the Christian should be that when troubles come, we're to face them in faith. Believe that God has allowed them and trust Him to deliver us from them as we face them. He's not going to take the bumps away. He's going to make a way over them or around them. This will not always be pleasant, but we know that when life is over, we have an eternity of pleasantness to enjoy with Him in heaven. I'd be surprised if you listening today don't face something today or this week that's very unpleasant. I would be surprised if many of you don't face bumps in the path this week. Keep moving forward, one step at a time, by faith. The confident statement we read from Psalm 91 said, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." That's wonderful. But in the next verse, he explains how that happens. "I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust." I want you to say that with me. He is my refuge. He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, and this, in Him will I trust. Will you say that in your heart? In Him will I trust. You know something? That will work. God bless you.